Hello, my horde. So today, a pretty short video, pretty short craft, but a couple of days ago, I was racking my brain trying to figure out a way to better subdivide my jewelry organizers, which are these things here. I believe these were bought at a Walmart or a Target, but I know that you can get roughly the same size and the same like 3-drawer setup at like Five Below for literally $5 plus tax. So actually fairly cheap to even get these to start with. And these drawers, you kind of just end up with a pile of tangled necklaces and stuff because they're not subdivided. So I was racking my brain and I was going through, you know, Cricut design space, as you do. So this project actually, these little drawers, because that's what I ended up with these little paper trays. These are cardstock that I have subdividing stuff here. And that is an image in the Cricut design space. It is the scalloped box lid. I liked that it was, you know, shallow because it's not, because obviously the drawers are shallow. It fits. So I went into design space and I made mine so that this inside square is about 2 by 2. And this is what it looks like before you glue it. Yeah, so this is a Cricut specific project, so to say, and that is to say, what I'm saying is, if you have a Cricut, go into Cricut design space and cut a bunch of box lids. I'm sure there are other non-Cricut ways to do this, but my hands don't like cutting things as much these days because I do it for a job and a hobby. So I really like using that Cricut when I can. And I just use the regular score tool. If you have a Cricut Maker, it'll tell you, like it'll automatically say score wheel, but you can go into change tools and change it to just the regular score tool because that score wheel is like $60, 45, 60. I don't know, like just the, and that's because you need the housing to start with, and then just the like replacement score wheel is like 35 still, and that's like, that was too much for me when I already had the other little score tool, so I was just like, nah, not necessary, we're not scoring anything more than straight lines. So I went in, it let me change it, and it was all good. So I did not spend any extra money on this project actually, because I just have a bunch of cardstock, and I imagine other people that have Cricuts and do scrapbooking probably also have a bunch of leftover cardstock or just extra cardstock that you hadn't had a plan for yet. And this is a great way to just use that up. So obviously the first step is to cut it out with the Cricut design space. Again, that is the scalloped box lid is what it's called in design space. It's just in images, not projects or anything, just images. I'm not gonna show you that, but I am gonna quick jump down and show you how to glue them together, just in case it's not self-evident to anyone. So we're gonna do that. And then I'll give you a little close-up of my little drawers here and how nice and neat they look now. Okay, so I did end up already like sort of pre-folding these before I even decided to do a video about this. But yeah, where those score marks are is you pretty much just fold anywhere there's a score mark. Like all of that. And then I like the Mod Podge because it dries pretty quick if you put on a nice thin coat, but it's still fairly strong. So what I do, let's get this nasty dried spot out. I just take a little Q-tip, get some Mod Podge on there, and you want to wipe it on the little tab right there on the side piece. Fold it in, match it up, and just hold it closed for a little bit. See, like right there, it's even already pretty much ready for me to move on. And sometimes I do two sides at once, like both sides of one side. Gosh, just say the word side so many times it means nothing. But it can be a little bit better to just go one tab by one tab. But yeah, with just a little thin layer of Mod Podge, it really doesn't take that long at all, so that's why I like to do it this way. The first one I did actually like glob on some like regular Elmer's glue, and that didn't work out because I had to put I have some like mini clothespins, and I had to put the mini clothespins onto the sides and just leave it to dry because it took forever. And I was really hoping for this project to go super quickly because I was super excited at the time. And this makes it go quickly. And then you like kind of set it aside. Obviously you don't want to mash at it or mess with it too much while it's trying to dry. But you just set it to the side while you do the others, and by that time your first one is probably dry. So I said I would do a little bit of a close-up of the drawers here. So this is what we have going on here now. And some of this is jewelry I should probably get rid of. Like I still have several of these rubber band magic loom pieces that as much as I don't wear them, I do kind of still have nostalgia for them. So I kind of just keep them. But because these will actually deteriorate over time and they'll start pulling apart. These ones haven't yet. Actually, this one has. I lie. I can see it. This one is starting to come apart at the glitter bands. The other bands seem to be okay, but the glitter bands are already falling apart. But this is from 6 years ago now. Like 6 years ago. So I never wear these, but I just still have some fondness for that phase at the time. My next drawer, and so these don't quite fit all the way, and I could have calculated it, I guess, so that they fit more exact, but I did have a few long pieces. Like I have this Epcot souvenir spoon that was somewhere in my grandmother's stuff when she passed away, and when we were going through it I was like, ooh, I want that souvenir spoon. I cannot find on the internet what year this spoon was produced, and it doesn't have a year on it, and I'd really like to know. I don't think that it's worth anything necessarily, but I just really would like to know, but I feel like I can't find any information about Disney souvenir spoons at all. But yeah, so I have some longer things, so I left the stuff on the side just because I knew I might need that space too. But yeah, and I used a bunch of different colors in here. I mixed colors. Some drawers are all one color, and that's just a function of I just decided to. Actually, these blues and these pinks were actually scrap pieces that I had large enough to get like 3 out of. So I just went ahead and like used the scrap piece, because that was a good way to get that used up and get it gone out of my collection. But I'm pretty happy with this, because this is kind of what I wanted. Like I wanted individual little pieces, but if I were to go and actually buy like just the little clear like craft dividers that you can get at Michael's or whatever, those are so much more expensive than this, and most of those are actually bigger than this particular drawer unit, so they wouldn't have fit anyway. But for me, that's gonna work, certainly for now. And I'm really fond of how quick and easy it is, that it's pretty customizable because you can just do whatever color you want, or patterned cardstock, anything that's thicker cardstock is really good for it. And I suppose like just regular paper could be, well, not like regular paper, but regular scrapbook paper, which is still thicker than like printer paper, would be all right too. But I really think the thicker the better, just for holding up over the long term. If you want to be using it for several years, that's what I recommend. Just like standard cardstock. It doesn't have to be the heavy stuff, but I have to assume that heavier will last longer. I don't know. And these have only been in here for like a day, so we'll see how long they actually hold up. But certainly for now, they're working and I like it, so I wanted to share it. So yeah, today's project was kind of short, but it's really simple and sweet in my opinion. Although, again, this specific iteration of this project is specific to having that Cricut to cut it out, because you need the access to design space. But I'm sure that this concept is doable by hand as well. You really just need to make a pattern for yourself in whatever size you need, which really is just a square and then a slightly bigger square, and you cut out those corners, but then leave the tabs. But like I said, that's a little much for me, and I don't like the I don't like the hand cutting, so that isn't the way I did this. But it's entirely possible. I'm just not, unfortunately that's not what this tutorial is today. This tutorial is just how to use something you produced with your Cricut, really. But anyway, if you liked today's project, go ahead, like and comment maybe, so that I know that like this kind of content is what you like. And I will see you treasures next time.